Scribbaloo and the Color Cruncher, written by Ben P. Fisher, illustrated by Tadgh Bentley. Way out on Color Island, where the mighty rainbow grew, there lived a magic creature by the name of Scribbaloo. His magic art was lots of fun, except for his mistakes. Those accidents gave Scribbaloo a nervous case of shakes. So Glitter Gleam, his star-shaped friends, said anyone can stray. Just take a breath and try again, and look, we're all okay. But Scribbaloo had messed up big by watercolor shore. He blew a fuse, then scribbled hard and gave a raging roar. Those nasty scribbles smashed together like a paper puncher. Now just what was that thing, you ask? It was the Color Cruncher. The Color Cruncher looked around to find a yummy lunch. It gobbled up the rainbow with a snappy, munchy crunch. The colors faded all around, the hues were pale and bleak. Their only hope was golden crayon up on Crayon Peak. Now, on their way to Crayon Peak, they came to Pom Pom Pool. I'll make a boat, said Scribbaloo. No need to lose our cool. But soon they hit a pom-pom wave and fell right off the deck. Oh, I can't draw, whined Scribbaloo. My boat is now a wreck. You can't draw yet, said Glitter Gleam, and that was just unlucky. So Scribbaloo thought hard and quickly drew a rubber ducky. Up next they entered Paintbrush Forest full of bristly trees, so Scribbaloo produced a ladder, climbing up with ease. But suddenly the ladder broke, which caused him much dismay, and Scribbaloo let out a scream, "Will nothing go my way?" "You've come so far," said Glitter Gleam. "I know we'll be there soon." So Scribbaloo took one more try and drew a big balloon. At last they reached the peak, and it was time to save their land. "High five! We made it!" they exclaimed, with faces oh so grand. "Now, once we find the golden crayon full of magic light, we'll bring back color to our home and make these wrongs all right." Oh no, just what had happened? All was dark and not okay. The golden crayon's light was gone, with nothing left but gray. Poor Scribbaloo's big heart grew heavy, causing him to frown. "It's all my fault, it's my mistake, and now I've let you down." Then Glitter Gleam leaned gently in and wiped his teary face. "Why, don't give up, my Scribbaloo. We'll save our favorite place. It's scary when mistakes are made, some things you can't undo, but even in your biggest messes, I'll be here for you." So Scribbaloo took 3 deep breaths and trusted in his friend, for now he had a new idea to make this darkness end. He drew another rainbow, for he had a little hunch, and sure enough it lured the monster, eager for more lunch. Together with Gray Crayon's help, he drew a metal cage and caught the Color Cruncher there, who howled and growled with rage. Now Scribbaloo knew what to do, so calm and cool like clay, he drew a giant pencil and erased him clean away. Then all at once the colors flowed just like a magic stream. The rainbow gleamed and glowed again with power in its beam. And Scribbaloo was filled with joy, as bright as he could be. He saved the island's colors, spreading light and so much glee. Though Scribbaloo still makes mistakes, these days he won't be stern. He says, "With practice I'll improve. Mistakes are how I learn." Stuck with a Stain, written and illustrated by Heli Pohjoisaho. Margaret was feeling very happy. She sat outside in her favorite comfy chair, wearing her favorite cozy shirt, enjoying her favorite blueberry cream donut. The donut was plump, dusted with sugar, and delicious. But, sadly for Margaret, a big blob of purple jam fell right onto the front of Margaret's favorite shirt. Oh dear, Margaret gasped. I need to get this stain out before it sticks. But what Margaret didn't know was the stain had already made itself at home. It loved her soft, fuzzy shirt and had no plans at all to leave. Margaret filled a bucket with warm, soapy water and placed her shirt in it to soak. I really hope this does the trick, she frowned. The last thing I need is a nasty stain. But, thank you, Margaret, the stain groaned with pleasure. There's nothing like a nice, relaxing bath. After a good soaking, Margaret tossed the shirt into her trusty old washing machine and put on the tough stains cycle. The shirt spun and twirled inside the machine for 2 whole hours. But, whoopee! The stain cried. What a fun ride this is! When Margaret got her shirt out of the washing machine, she was disappointed to see the stain looked as fresh as ever. It needs a proper spot treatment, she thought. She sprinkled on some baking soda, then added a spoonful of vinegar. The mixture bubbled and hissed, but, hee-hee, the stain giggled. Stop tickling me! I can't believe that stain is still there, Margaret scowled. Determined to be rid of it, she grabbed a brush and began scrubbing harder than she had ever scrubbed before. But, oh, the stain mumbled, this massage is lovely, just what I needed. After all that scrubbing, Margaret's hands were sore and red, but the stain still hadn't budged. Fed up, she marched outside to her sunny garden and laid the shirt flat on her chair. The sun will fade you away, she declared. But instead of leaving, the stain stretched out its jammy arms and settled down to bathe in the warm sunlight. This is the life, it said happily. When the sun failed to fade that stain away, right, Margaret said, snapping on her rubber gloves. She gathered every cleaning supply she had. This stain has got to go. Margaret tried dish soap, lemon juice, salt, chlorine, even some bright green stain remover that smelled a bit like pee. But the stain stayed put. Finally, Margaret pulled off her rubber gloves in defeat. I've tried everything, she sighed sadly. Nothing will get that stain out. I guess I'm just going to have to throw my favorite shirt away. Wait, what did you say? Said the stain. Stop, the stain panicked. Anything but the trash. Margaret, please, you can't blame me for liking your shirt too. It's just so soft and fuzzy. I'll change, I swear. Oh, can't we just try to get along? Hold on a minute, Margaret said, pausing. There is one more thing I could try. I know it's in here somewhere. Margaret added another jammy stain right next to the first one. Now it doesn't look like a stain anymore, Margaret smiled. It looks like it was always meant to be there. Margaret sat back in her favorite chair, wearing her favorite colorful shirt, enjoying a plate of raspberry cream donuts. She was very happy. And the stain? Well, it was happy too. The Phony Baloney of Greta Maloney, written by Karla Clark, illustrated by Emma Clements. Greta Maloney had a big imagination. Huge! She and her dog Digby spent hours playing in her room. They went on grand adventures. They hiked through the jungle, sailed across the 7 seas, and they even skateboarded on the rings of Saturn. Sometimes Greta wished that her adventures were real and that Digby was her brother instead of her dog. That way she could have someone else to dream with. On the first day of school, Penny Piccadilly showed Greta a bite mark on her arm. My baby brother bit me. He's so annoying.
Well, I have 12 annoying brothers who steal my toys and 14 annoying sisters who eat my candy,
said Greta.
That's phony baloney, Greta Maloney,
shouted Cooper Carlson. Cooper lived across the street from Greta.
You don't have any brothers or sisters.
At show and tell, Lana Littles showed the class her pet turtle. When it was Greta's turn, she thrust her stuffed T-Rex in the air and said,
I have a real pet dinosaur at home. That's Phony Baloney, Greta Maloney.
shouted Cooper Carlson, who knew Greta's only pet was her dog Digby. Miss Young said, maybe Greta means she wished she had a pet dinosaur. Is that what you mean, Greta?
No, Miss Young, I have a real T-Rex. He watches TV with me and makes me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with his tiny little arms. More like bologna sandwiches,
Cooper Carlson mumbled. At lunchtime, Margaret Mittens talked about her summer trip to the Kennedy Space Center. I saw a space shuttle and met an astronaut, she said.
My dad is an astronaut.
Greta chimed in.
We flew to the moon last week on his rocket ship. That's phony baloney, Greta Maloney,
shouted Cooper Carlson, who knew that Greta's dad was a mailman, not an astronaut. Later, Felix Finnegan said he had his tonsils removed over the summer. Greta announced,
I broke my wrist, arm, leg, and even one eyeball. That's just more phony baloney, Greta Maloney,
said Cooper Carlson, who knew that Greta was healthy all summer, riding her bike and running around the neighborhood. Greta, Miss Young said, are you sure you're not exaggerating?
No, Miss Young, it's all true.
Phony baloney, Greta Maloney, sang Penny Piccadilly. Phony baloney, Greta Maloney, echoed Margaret Mittens. Class, that's enough, Miss Young said. We don't call each other names. Greta, with your lively imagination, maybe someday you'll write stories.
Stories about baloney,
Cooper Carlson said. The children laughed. That night, when Mom tucked her in, Greta told her that she had made 43 new best friends at school. Oh, you and your imagination, her mom said, and kissed her head. Greta thought about her day. She hadn't really made 43 new friends. She hadn't made any friends at all. Was Cooper Carlson right? Was she full of phony baloney? As she left for school the next morning, Greta's mom said, Honey, I love all your wonderful stories, but if you want to make friends, don't forget to show them who you really are. At school, Penny Piccadilly showed the class her leg, another bite mark from her baby brother.
Well, my 19 brothers and 23 sisters bite me all the time,
Greta announced. Is that really true, Greta? Penny Piccadilly asked. Greta thought for a long moment.
I guess not,
she said. So if it's not true, Felix Finnegan said, then it's just a story.
Yes,
Greta said.
It's just a story. Wait a minute, that's who I really am, a storyteller.
Oh, well, we all love stories, Margaret Mittens said. Can you tell another one? And so Greta happily told a long story about how she and Digby built a time machine in her garage and how they went back to the dinosaur age and met a brontosaurus named Bruno. Good story, said Margaret Mittens. At lunchtime, when Greta unwrapped her sandwich, she stood up on her chair and said,
Hey, everybody look! Now the only thing baloney about me is my sandwich.
Cooper Carlson climbed on his chair beside Greta. He raised her hand and shouted,
No more phony baloney, Greta Maloney. Just Greta Maloney, the one and only.
The end. Or is it?